Good evening. I see you. I see all of you. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Okay. All right. Marie, how are you?
Fine. How you doing, Miko? How are you, Paul?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you for joining the show today.
No problem. No problem.
Very
bless
good.
Bless her little heart, yo. Bless her little heart. We're going to get ready to get started. As always, we are Incarceration to Incorporation, or Ink to Ink. And we are here. Why? Because we want to change the negative narrative that has been given to us. Us meaning returning citizens. But before I even go there, I want to give a big shout out to Julius Hall, first of all, for having the brainchild of ATR, All Things Relevant Media. We thank him for this platform that he has given to us, also a returning citizen. We also want to be grateful for AB. AB is another one who has thought about this, who has conceived this while he himself was incarcerated, to give people a platform to share their stories. And what we do here is we encourage, we educate, and we empower. There is a negative narrative out there. And that negative narrative is that many of us who get out of prison automatically return. Well, we are changing that negative narrative and putting a positive face on it, because there are many of us who are successful, whether it's relationally, occupationally, or even organizationally. We have become successful in what we're doing. And so we have a special guest tonight that's going to share with us his story. But before I even go there, Marie, tell the people what we need to say to them.
You want me to tell them? I'm gonna take. I want to speak on some things of what Miko said about the narrative about positive things, because I want to give kudos, shout out to Julius Campbell, who he did 26 years in prison, and he is not his past. I'm gonna say that. Also, AB is very successful. He got 2 stores. He started this media platform as far as like Incarceration to Incorporation. And also Mr. Julius Hall, who is over ATR. Positive mindset, positive people. Miko, he's you work for what's the name of it, Miko? We work at
Deep Center.
You work for the Deep Center. And I think that's very good, given where Miko has came from and where he is now. You can't even compare. Looking at him now, you would not even fathom that he'd been in prison for 26 years.
Thank you,
So
man.
we are not what we used to be.
That's right. I
So
like that.
Right.
I like that. Well, we got Barbara Austin. She is on. She says, hello, happy Friday. Thank you, ma'am. And we will have the rest of our guests. They will be coming on. Please hit that share button. Let others know that there is a safe space, a platform for returning citizens, for the relatives of returning citizens, and also for the resources for returning citizens. But without further ado, we're going to allow our main man, Paul, to introduce himself. Paul, tell us a little bit about who you are and what is your relationship to incarceration.
So my name is Paul Thompson. I am from Savannah, Georgia. I'm 40 years old, so I grew up in the 90s and the late 80s when Savannah was one of the worst cities to be in. And I became a part of that. So what I did was my relationship with incarceration is that I spent 10 years in incarceration for a crime that I did do. But since that time, I have not been back, and it's been 7 years, going on 8.
Wow, now that's awesome. And I like the time
Yes.
you say that during that period when Savannah was off the chain. I think now, though, Savannah is even more so off the chain with these new young people. But we'll get to that in a moment. What's up, Donnie Black? I appreciate you joining us. Awesome platform, Donnie says. Awesome platform. So tell us, Paul, was your transition? Well, you know what? Before we even deal with our transition, because most returning citizens, when they come home, they spent time while they were incarcerated preparing to be who they are. So tell us a little bit about your time in prison. You don't have to give us gory details, but tell
Right.
us, did you progressively prepare for what you're doing now while you was in?
Absolutely. Uh, I believe that life is a beast, and if you don't tame it, then it's going to basically eat you alive. So you have to prepare. You have to be strategic. While I was incarcerated, I did take some business courses just to get more astute when it comes to business and how to handle things. Um, Most importantly, I built a great relationship with the Creator, Father God, to help me in my mindset, to help me see that I was a better person that I was prior, that I could do different things and still achieve the level of success and greater than I was trying to achieve when I had uh when I was doing the things that got me incarcerated.
Okay, so
So
in doing that, as you transition out, tell us, was your transition back into society a difficult one or a smooth one? And if it was whichever, tell us how and why.
okay, so my transition, and I'm thankful for a Senate bill that came out with in probably about 2000, maybe about 12 or 13, because I was on a mandatory minimum sentence. And in that year or the year prior to me getting out, they said that everybody had to who was on a mandatory minimum sentence had to do 1 year in halfway house. So I was able to go to the halfway house and get with a guy who saw something good in me in spite of what I've done and made that transition easier. But there was some difficulties because there was a lot of things I wasn't used to. I'm back home, and things are different now. So it was a big culture shock that I had to get used to, and also kind of understanding what type of environments you want to keep yourself in, and what type of environments you don't need to be in. So that in itself was a transition that was kind of difficult. I had to figure things out.
Marie, can you hear us? I saw you went out
I
for a
took
moment.
and went off.
Okay. You're
Yeah, I
back.
did my internet service. I'm sorry, Miko, and so I didn't hear everything that he said, but I know I just caught the last part when he said that being in a different environment, um, he had to choose from that, right?
Right.
Right. So, are you in a comfortable environment now where you feel safe not to go back and to do the things that you used to do?
Absolutely. But part of my why I don't do the things that I don't go back and do the things that I used to is that I didn't want to show my son that that was a lifestyle that he should live. I wanted him to
Right.
see that that wasn't even an option. Um,
Right.
but that the difficult part was, you go through life and if you make one mistake, then it's hard to get another chance. So, I was working with a general contractor right after I got out. Like I said, I was in the halfway house. I was working through the service labor ready at the time,
Mm-hmm.
through the halfway house, and that's how I met him. And then when I got out and went and talked to him, he hired me, and I
Mm-hmm.
was, just blessed for that. Um, Mine wasn't quite ready. I did some things, but one thing I did learn was that um, even if you make a mistake, people still believe in you. Uh,
Right.
but if you make a mistake, sometimes they have to move on from you. But that doesn't mean that you are not as good as they thought you were in the beginning.
Right.
So I kept pushing on from that, and actually, it pushed me to start my own home improvement business uh, back in 2015.
Okay.
I like that. A matter of fact, as you see across the ticker, tonight's topic is our title is New Beginnings. All of us, we need new beginnings. As I often love to say, we may have started out wrong, but
Mm-hmm.
now we can all
Finish
finish
line.
strong. And so I see Mike Kelly. Mike Kelly, what's up? And he says, I'm a returning citizen also. I like that term better than ex-felon. Thank you guys for all that you do and make this better for us. And we appreciate you hollering at us, Mike, and let others know as well that this is a platform for you also. Mike, give us
Mm-hmm.
your information so that we can holler at you and you can share your story also. But as we're talking about new beginnings, you said, Paul, that you started your own business as well. Tell us, was it difficult in some of the struggles that you had? And the reason why I'm asking you to be meticulous is because there are those others returning citizens who,
Right.
whether they was out 10 years ago or 10 days ago, feel like they're by themselves. But when they know that others have made it, that encourages them. So tell us a little bit about that move.
Okay, so I've learned a lot in that time that I was with the general contractor, and actually, I was pretty good to where he was encouraging me, hey, go do this person's house for XYZ. Was giving me some education on how to conduct myself in the construction business. Um, and really, I looked at it as most people would spend $250 on a pair of shoes, some clothes. Why not? Or going to debt in the college, and I'm, and sometimes people don't actually get into the field that they in debt for tens of thousands of dollars. Why not invest in myself? We'll say $500 and just take a chance on myself. Um, I knew that going through the regular corporate world would be the more difficult route, and I'd rather bet on myself. I mean, if I was betting on myself in the past to do the wrong thing, why can't I bet on myself now to do the right things and
Mm-hmm.
something positive, something that I can show other people that have come through the same situations as me as far as incarceration, that we can do better than what we did using the same mind mentality, same determination.
So, Paul, are you reaching out to other young men to show them a different way, to show them a different, because there's a difference in you. So, especially people that have been around you and know the role that you have taken, and to see a difference in you, are you reaching out to other young men?
um I do kind of like in just meeting people, walking through the street. I don't have a actual place or platform that I am working with or on right now. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
I met the brother Julius through a friend of mine who was also incarcerated, and me and him have been talking about doing some things together that I will be very humbled to do, as I am to be on here today.
Now y'all heard what he said, right?
Okay.
We on national TV, YouTube, Facebook, radio. He said that he will be humbled to join us. Marie OAA is
That's what
calling
he
him.
said.
Exactly. So
That's what OAA Paul, yes.
yes, and so not only but the young people though, because we have some brothers that are listening to this on radio that's in jail and prison right now in Jessup, and so shouts out to our brothers. I want to ask you a question. Do you remember those that are still behind the bars? What are you doing to help to assist them when they return, or
Mhm.
B, to make a better name for returning citizens when they return? Do you remember some of your brothers that you left behind the wall?
Actually, I do. I actually have a brother and a couple of brothers that I do keep in good contact with. Um, one, I kind of feel like he shouldn't be in there, but I kind of understand the situation at hand. And we keep in contact. I keep him in a positive mindset, letting him know that, hey, brother, I'm out here trying to do something different with my life, so that when by the time he gets out, that he can do something different with his life. He don't have to put himself in a position where he be facing with incarceration. Um, and another thing that I do is that a lot of things that I'm learning, I still keep in contact with a lot of people who have recently got out, been out 5, 10, however much time they've been out or however much time they did, and try to educate them on some of the things that I have been learning and still am learning.
For example, you told me before we started that you were starting, I think it was your business. You've been in construction for 7 years, and you're talking about financial freedom and also positive mindset. So, tell us a little bit about business, and then also transition into financial freedom and positive mindsets.
Okay, so my construction business, I end up well, my it wasn't a construction business, it's more of a handyman business. Because I didn't get up to be a general contractor or anything like that. But I was doing that. I started it in Savannah. I carried it to the Atlanta area. I started just kind of starting out small, got a few things done, a couple of painting, a couple of pressure washing, continue to do it on and off throughout the years. Um, that has been something that has been a challenge for me to figure out and be very successful at it, where I could just kind of, how everybody want to you see yourself retiring from somewhere or passing it on. That has been up and down. I am learning a lot of lessons in it. um, but in the meantime, I have had jobs. So, I do understand that if you have a dream and you have a goal that you want to reach and you're not winning at it, it's okay to do something else to fund what you really want to do in life.
Oh, say that
Uh,
again. Say that again.
it's okay to do something else to fund what you want to do in life. You got
Okay.
to understand that it takes time, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
dedication, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
sacrifice. Like I said, I've been out 7 years, and I've been searching for a way to reach that point of success where I can pass it on to my kids,
Mhm.
where I can bring in my brothers and sisters and other family members who want it, because people have to want stuff just like you wanted it as well. And that's where we come into building positive mindsets, because a lot of things that we see on TV and a lot of things that we hear on the radio constantly building us a mindset that keeps us repeating the same mistakes and getting worse. So I prefer to talk about things that are going to actually build us up and that can educate us, give us a different mindset about us. Yes, I understand we went through slavery, but at the same time, guess what? At some point in time, somewhere through your lineage, there were kings, queens, chiefs, businessmen, and women, warriors, and these are the things that I try to, talk to people about. I know a lot of us like to probably complain about what happened in the past, but at the same time, well, what's going on in your future? Why can't we focus on that? And why focus on the bad things in your past? Focus on the good things in your past. Um, I had learned that my some great things about some members in my family, great grandfather who I've never met, and his father who I've never met, but great things, and it sparked something within me through my own lineage. And I believe that everybody has something positive in their lineage that they can grab hold to instead of grabbing hold to the bad thing.
Marie, you were going to say something?
Yes, Miko, I wanted you to tell Paul about, remember when Johnson was on here, what's in the Apollo? He was on here and he was speaking about going to school, Paul, and that Savannah Tech, it will pay for you so you won't be in debt. It will
Hmm.
pay for you because you're a returning citizen. This program set up for returning citizens and it can help enhance what are you
Right,
trying to do, right? And you can
right,
take and you have a certificate and then you can get bonded in certain areas, right? Because you want to be a construction worker. It will help you get bonded and you can have your certificates because people you can get bigger jobs, you
right.
know.
And, and,
So
and I totally 100% agree with you. And those programs are great. Now, don't get me wrong, that was just my mindset at the time that I was back in 2015.
okay. Okay. Because you
I've
can go
learned
to
a
you
lot
can
since
yeah,
that point in time.
you can go to
He
school and the program Miko, he knows his name is Julius Campbell, but I call him Miko. He knows the name of the program. He can get the information from Apollo and give it to you
Right,
where you can go to school and apply. And the program, it will pay for itself. You don't have to pay for it, so you won't be in debt. But
right,
you can
right.
get the right credentials that you need so you can go further.
Understood, understood.
Yeah.
Uh, like last year, I was in an apprenticeship program at a place called Southwire in Carrollton,
Mm-hmm.
Georgia, to be a senior millwright. And I was looking at it was, they pay you to go to school, they pay you to go to work. That was a career job last year that I was into, and I saw myself doing that. It was a great opportunity. Like I said, I never tell anybody do not go to school and do anything. No, do what fits you. Everybody has
Right.
their own path to walk. Everybody got their own grace on their life. If that fits
Right.
you and is working for you, great. If it's not
Right.
working for you, then let's kind of try to rethink some things. Let's not keep bumping our heads over and over and over again when
Right.
getting frustrated in life.
So
Because
I
it's
got a
those
question
frustrations
for
that
you.
go
Let me
ahead.
ask you this, because I know that a lot of people are listening and they're probably saying that, well, yeah, okay, you talking good now, but what happens when the difficulty comes in? What happens when the challenges come? First of all, for you, being transparent, what did
Right.
you do when those challenging times came? Who did you turn to? Did you have I like to call them an accountability partner? Did you have a
Okay.
group of men in your corner to help mentor you through those difficulties? And if so, what would you share with others that have been home now 10, 15 years and are still struggling?
Well, one of the things my accountability partners are people, honestly, who I've been incarcerated with.
Mhm.
A great friend of mine, Randy Allen. We spent some time together. We saw each other's relationship with God blossom, and still talk to each other today. He's been a big accounting partner for me. Him as well as another guy named Zontorius Riggs. We've talked on and off. We even talk about, when we backtrack in life, you know, because one thing about life is it's never going to be perfect. And I think we think life and things are going to go exactly how they're supposed to. Um, well, some adversity that I'm going through right now is I had a job at Southwire, the apprenticeship. The first year was paying me $17 an hour. Second year, by the end of my term, I would have been making like $35 an hour. Well, that was stopped last year due to an accident that was not my fault. So I'm dealing with that. Actually, like honestly, I still kind of suffer a little bit from a dysphonia. But you know, over time it'll get better. But but since that time, I couldn't work, didn't have no income, um, and it really took a lot for me to kind of mentally get myself back together. Talking to my mom, my dad, like I say, Randy Allen, a couple other brothers that I continue to talk with, some family members, just kind of helped me get my mindset back where it should be. And especially more than anything, just my relationship. And I stress this more than anything. And I know everybody believes what they want to believe, and it's fine. But for me, my relationship with God was is my foundation. So I pull
Mhm.
from um, realizing that there's going to be mistakes in life. I, that come from me and my relationship with God. I
Oh
mean,
man.
So
this is
that you know
long,
what Paul, that guess what? Like you said, for you and for me
right?
too. You understand? Because if you don't have that foundation and what you going through that, right? What you going through not having a job, did that make you want to draw back and go back into the life that you knew? Or
There
having that
was there was some thoughts. I'm not going to sit here. I mean, you know, I know I could have made you know, some money, kind of be like, okay, I can kind of wait on some things, and you know, but I have to stick to uh the point that I never want to show that to my son, and he's grown now. He's actually 22 years old. Uh, but I still never want him to ever think that that lifestyle is okay.
right.
And now that I've been out for so long, and I'm also encouraging other people, hey, there are different ways to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Just as, I mean, almost just as fast. I mean, or even in the long term, there are many different ways to make money, and it doesn't take a lot of it might take some time, it might take some discipline, it might take some being willing to learn, but it doesn't take you having to risk your freedom
Future.
again. Because I miss
Yes.
my family.
Yes. I want to say something. How you doing, Linda Scott? Linda Scott said, Marie, way to go to connect those dots. And also she says, adversity introduces a man to himself. And so I'm glad that those adversities come and it's real. We need to understand that,
Right.
especially returning citizens, because if we, I love what you said. I don't want to misquote it, but what did you say about the beast?
Life is a beast. If you don't tame it, it's gonna eat you alive.
I
It
like that.
will.
Life is a beast. If you don't tame it, it's going to eat you alive. But I also like to say, if you don't train yourself for that beast, then you
Mm-hmm.
will
Right.
give yourself over to it. And you were
And
honest and transparent and said that there was a pull
Mm-hmm.
when things begin to get difficult. Well, guess what, Paul? That pull is real, not just to you, but it's
All
real
of
to
us.
many men and women who have gotten out. And sadly, many have allowed themselves to be pulled back into that life, and it has ended in either A, death, or B, more prison time. And so that's why I wanted you to speak transparently, but also to speak to those men, young men that are listening right now, because I want to be transparent as well. 26 years I did. When I came home, my reality has been different now than others. I had gainful employment. I had family support, community support, faith-based organizations that helped me. Not to mention, my mind was ready. For 26 years, I progressively prepared myself spiritually and also mentally for what I am today. As Marie stated, I am, what's up, Tisha? I am working for Deep Center. Deep Center is a nonprofit organization that helps young people that are systemically impacted by the courts or justice. And what we do is we do everything we can to help these young people become community leaders, to help them to thrive, to help them to become learners and educators themselves. And so, but I did those things while I was behind the walls, so that when the doors opened here, that opportunity presented itself for me, and I was ready. Just like opportunities have presented themselves for Marie and Julius and AB and you also, Paul. So I encourage those of our brothers and sisters that are still behind the bars, keep practicing, keep preparing, because that opportunity is going to come. And when it comes, Nehemiah, be ready.
Be ready.
Train yourselves also, because if you don't, when that pull of the world tries to reach out to you,
it may pull you.
It will pull you in. What's up, Tisha? We say, Linda Scott said you are an inspiration, Miko. Thank you, ma'am. Tisha Fulton, hey, how you doing? Good to see you as well. She's watching us also. But Marie, I know you had some more questions for Paul.
Paul, may I say something? I did 18 months in prison, and Linda, who is tuning in, she was my prayer partner. You understand? Yes, she was. She was my prayer partner. If y'all hear her sing, angels would come down and listen to her sing. I'm telling you. Okay. So, but I'm telling you, have to have, as Julia said, you have to have a mindset. And I believe, this is just my belief. Okay. I believe that God prepares and put us in situations so that in this time, he already know it was going to be this time. He sets us up into where he wants us to be in life. So, Paul, I truly believe, like you said, you don't want that role for your son. So, you know what better person, what better man to stand before his son and tell him, son, this is not the way to go. Yes, you can tell him why. You know why? Because you live that life. And what better example is to have a father say, look, you know how they say, well, how can you tell me something? You can tell him. Yes. That is not the way to go, son. I could tell my daughters, writing checks, using credit cards, that is not the way to go. Right. And it has been time that I have been very, very, very tempted. But now I work around credit card numbers all day long and don't want to touch them. I'd rather go beg and borrow before I touch anybody credit card, because I'm not walking down that road, Martin Luther King, no more.
And guess what, Marie? And I want to say this right here, too. It wasn't per se prison.
Right.
It was not per se prison.
That's right.
Allowed us to be who we are today.
No.
It was the time that God used while we were in prison.
Yes, he did.
He did. We were rehabilitated, if that's the term people want to say. Not me. I repented. That's what I did.
Exactly.
I repented.
And you know what, too, Miko? You know what the warden said? I never forget this, what he said. He said, women, he said, you think that I need y'all here in my prison? He said, prison don't rehabilitate you. You rehabilitate you.
You have to.
You have to. You have to be in a mindset. Let me tell you something. You could be free and be in hell in your mind.
Yes.
Right.
You understand?
Go ahead, Paul.
So go ahead, Mr. Paul.
Oh, I was just going to say that you have to rehabilitate yourself. There were programs a while ago, and then they, especially in Georgia, and then they took them out. So if you don't do something with yourself, then, I mean, where are you going to go? Exactly. You have to at least talk to somebody, get some type of knowledge of something different.
Right.
I want to transition for a moment, Marie.
Okay.
Before I transition, though, let me say this one more time. Brothers, sisters, returning citizens, if you are struggling, make sure you have an accountability partner. Mm-hmm. You can't do this by yourself. Mm-hmm. We were not meant to be islands anyway. So I encourage you. There are others. Be careful, be discerning, be wise. But there are those who have walked this journey and they have ears that are waiting to hear and to be a help to you. So again, get you an accountability partner and don't try to do this
No,
by yourself.
don't.
I just want to give a little disclaimer. I was told recently, and I want to put this out there that some of those who were doing long-term sentences, like lifers, at certain prisons, were waiting on parole interviews, and they were not given those opportunities. We don't know why the person who was supposed to set it up forgot or was negligent. I don't know the issue, but
Mm.
that I know that was very disheartening, because if you did all this time, 20, 25, 30 years, and you're waiting on that opportunity for your voice to be heard, and then someone, whether it was out of negligence or irresponsibility, they did not have that schedule. I know that was hurtful. Be encouraged. That time is coming again. But I said that for this reason. There are those of you that are watching, that are listening. Your family members are still behind bars.
Yeah.
Find out what's going on in their lives. Find out what's taking place. I know sometimes we hear those stories of loved ones that have burnt those bridges, but remember, I think Julius says it best. Julius Hall, a debt once paid is
Yes,
no
and
longer.
no more of that.
And so what we're asking, if you got loved ones that are still behind those walls, find out what's going on with them. Get involved in their lives. We hear politicians that come to our churches, come to our communities, say they're going to make changes, and then we never hear from them again. But listen, 75% of our churches are made up of family members who has a loved one incarcerated. You need to know what's going on with your loved one. So churches, find out. There needs to be prison reform. We need to know what's going on behind those bars. Call the chaplain, call the counselor, find out what's going on with your loved one, because they matter. They do. I'm sorry, that was just something I wanted to say and to bring out, because too often when we get out, we forget. That's why I
Right.
asked Paul, do you still remember your brothers that are still there? Marie, I know you do. You talk often about your sisters that were there with you as well. And I just wanted the community to know that we must remember those that are behind those walls.
Absolutely.
Paul, you got something else you want to say? I know I stole a little bit of your time, but be an
Oh no,
encouragement.
no, brother, you did the absolute right thing, because I know there are times where even myself that I forget about the brothers, and then I have to be reminded, because I keep in contact with so many people who I have been incarcerated, and they keep in contact with them. So we give a constant reminder to help out, and to just even if it's just a conversation with them. Like, even that's important. That's something that I know that I wish I had more of, and I'm thankful that I'm able to at least talk to some of my brothers that are incarcerated to this day.
And what we can do, Marie and I, we got a group called Offender Alumni Association, OAA Savannah, and we meet. Now, what we're doing now is we're virtual, and we'll put that information in the box, because we'll be meeting this Wednesday via Zoom. Those of you who would like to be a part of that conversation, what we're doing there is we're encouraging, we're educating, and we are empowering, allowing people to tell where the resources are, share their story. OAA Savannah, by all means, please reach out to us, because we want to be a help to those that are still behind the bars, but also those that have gotten out. So if you will, Paul, we already got your information. And those of you that are listening to us as well, we'll put it in the chat. You can get in contact with me at deepcenter.org. Excuse me, Julius at deepcenter.org. Our intern is going to put that in the chat box for us, and you can be able to get in contact with me, and we can hook you up with resources. But by all means, if you want to help, we need your assistance. Marie?
Yes, sir.
Why haven't you got Linda to come on and talk to us?
I have Linda is on the air, and I know she's listening, because she told me, like, during the time she listened to us, but she also be working. And she know
Oh,
I want her to come on here and share her story, how we first met when we were in prison together. And I tell you, Cece, I call her Cece. And so she is she's a beautiful person. Me and her, I'm telling you, she had to pray a lot for me, but yeah, you say accountability partner, right, Miko? And we
Right.
gave accountability for each other. We was in the choir while we was in prison. And like I told Miko this, Travis Green, which is the gospel singer, we met his mother will come and minister to us. We were in her choir, and Travis Green will be playing the organ. So we talked to Travis. And so it was I tell you, prison is a world inside of a world. And it was an experience. It's an experience that I don't want to experience anymore, but it was an experience for me. And
what you said too is it's again a reinforcement. Cece, you said her name, Linda Scott.
I call Linda Scott is Cece. I call her Cece.
She was there. She was there for you. You didn't do this by yourself. Paul,
No.
you told us Randy Allen and others. Man, I'll be here all day. I see you, Tisha. Tisha say tag me, Bestie, so that we can give support. We got you, Tisha. I'm gonna make sure you get that info. But I'll be here all day to call out the names of those that have stood there and been an encouragement on the inside, just as well as now I'm on the outside. Shouts out to all of you who are standing in the corner of those that are still behind the bars, but those that have come home as well. And we want to do all we can. Linda say, we were there for each other. Marie, she said you was there for her as well.
That's my friend.
That's why we're here. That's why we have this platform on Fridays at 6 p.m. Ink to Ink. Please share this and let others know this is a platform for you to be an encourager, but for you to also reinforce that word of comfort, that resource to others that are out there, so that when they are looking for jobs, when they are looking for a word of encouragement, here at Ink to Ink, we are there. Talk to me, Paul. Encourage those that are listening that are still on the inside right now.
I just want to tell the brothers that, take everything seriously, one day at a time. Come up with a plan. Do your best to execute the plan. If that plan doesn't work, don't stop there. Believe in yourself. You are not a felon. You are a human being. You are a king. You are a queen. You are greatness just waiting to happen. And that's one of the things that has gotten me every day through the ups and the downs. Just listen, your greatness waiting to happen. That's the only reason why we have these struggles in life. Your greatness waiting to happen.
I like that. Greatness.
Marie, you do the same, Marie. Encourage the women that have come home but feel like they're by themselves.
Oh, never feel like you by yourself. Just like Julia said about accountability partner. It's somebody out here who needs your testimony. The one who has came home. It's somebody who needs, it's a young woman who's about to make a mistake or who has already made a mistake. And she needs your encouragement. So encourage her. Don't be afraid to open up. Sometimes we shun away from opening up because we are scared to be judged by folks. But you know what? We need that. We need that accountability partner. We need somebody to say, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. And I'm here for you. And really be genuine. You know what? I'm going to tell you something. It's a blessing thing. I tell my children this all the time. When you have somebody that's genuine, you understand? When you have someone who I found that, and I'm not going to cry. No, I'm not going to cry. I found that in Miko.
Oh, bless your heart.
Miko is my friend. And I look at Miko, have you ever been around somebody and they
Lord, don't make me go there.
and they make you want to be better. That's right. Miko is my friend. And so that's why I take and I fuss at him a lot and stuff like that, Paul. and I talk stuff to him. But I truly, I thank God for him. I respect him. I look at him as my big brother, and it's not easy for me. Miko know the story of my life, so it's not easy for me to call somebody my friend.
Right.
So if I call you my friend, that means that I really, really trust you, and I respect him so much.
Thank you, man. We're gonna take a station break for her to wipe her tears. While she's wiping her tears, one of our interns, Daria Campbell, my wife, says, "What we go through becomes our testimony to help others." Linda Scott
Right.
says, "You are greatness waiting to happen." I love that. Thank you, Paul. And Tisha said, "You said a mouthful, Paul." So we just want you to know that when you came on today, that you are here not just for you, but you're here for others. Tisha said, oh, bless your heart. Tisha said, "Marie, I know what you are saying. Miko has definitely made changes in lives since he's come home." And I appreciate that, ladies. And Marie, also, you know, the same goes for you. Your passion towards helping young people is definitely visible. And so there are multiple organizations, nonprofits, that we can hook you up with. Marie can hook you up with, or help her yourself. We hooked up with Angela Brantley, which is operating nonprofit TIP, talented individuals with power. And she's also, there are many resources out there to help our returning citizens and our system impacted youth. We just need people to assist us. So if you're out there and you know someone, or you have that heart and that passion, please contact us so that we can connect you. As I believe it was Linda said, connecting those dots. We talked about that last week, so that we can connect you. Because as I got to say it again, Marie, we may have started out wrong, but we can finish this thing strong.
That is so true.
That's true. That is so true.
So we're getting ready to transition to our closing. So what I would like for you to do, Paul, you go first. Remember, our audience is multifaceted. And what I mean by that, there's those that are still on the inside in prison, that are listening in jail and prison. But we also have those returning citizens that are home, that are starting all over again. And then we have a community of people that's on the fence. Should we help them, or should we look at them as what they used to be? Talk to us before you leave. Encourage that spectrum.
Well, one thing I understand is that even now and today, that for the people who are coming home or are home and trying to get yourself together, I still struggle with people who still want to see me as I was before. Do I let that slow me down or stop me? Might slow me down, but it won't stop me. For those who are out there who don't think we deserve a fair chance, that we're just going to repeat ourselves over and over again, one thing I can say is everybody makes mistakes. Everybody's not going to do the same thing. I know that even if it's not something, everybody needs a chance. Some people aren't taught a lot of things. So give people a chance. Let's help people understand how to live better in life. Give them better options so that we can actually give them a fair shake at life.
Marie?
I'm going to say what Minister Green used to say to us before we would go and sing in the gymnasium in the prison. And she would say, see, the only difference between the officers and you all, she said, including I, she said, is that we didn't get caught. Everybody, somewhere, some point in the time in their life have did something. But the only difference between them and me is they can point their finger and say, because I got caught. So forgiveness is a powerful thing. And first of all, I said this before, we have to forgive ourselves. Because if it's up to the world, they will hold it over our head forever, Paul.
Right.
You know, so I just say, live your best thoughts about yourself. First of all, let the thoughts be good about yourself and just live life. Live life.
Live life. For myself, um, you know, there have been a lot of people along this journey that has helped to make me who I am. And I believe that Marie and Paul and Julius Hall and AB can all say the same thing. All of us matter.
That's
Those of
right.
you that are struggling right now, the returning citizen that feels like I don't matter, you matter
Right.
because someone is going to be motivated and moved by your story. Don't keep your story to yourself.
No.
Tell others about your story. And sometimes you might have to change your perspective. You might be in the middle of your story. You might be in that scene where it's difficult, but you are going to get through to the other side. You will. So, what I want to do is, I want to encourage you wherever you are. If you're still behind bars, practice, practice, prepare. For the door will open and the opportunity will be there. I don't know if it's going to be this year or 5 more years or 10 more years. When I started out on that first year, I didn't know that I was going to be there 25 more.
Mm.
But I never stopped believing that the doors were going to open, and it was evident by my progressive preparation. So for you that's still there waiting, keep practicing, keep preparing, because your time will come. Keep your hope. Keep hope. For those
That's
of you that
it.
have come home 20 years ago or 20 days ago, you matter. You do. You matter. And it gets better. It does. It gets better. You've heard the theme, the common theme that has gone throughout this program: education, faith, and people. Education helped us to be what we are. It helped us to sell ourselves. It prepared us for what we've become. Faith. Faith helped us to remain grounded when it was difficult, whatever your faith may be. It helped us to stand firm. And also people. You can't go through this alone. You have
Mm-mm.
to have accountability partners. You can't make this thing out by yourself. So I wanted you to be encouraged too. And then finally, those in the community, those of you who haven't messed up, or at least nobody has known, you know that you've messed up, but
That's
nobody
right.
else may know. Grace has been given to all of us.
Right.
Remember that and try. Try to be an encouragement to those that are struggling.
Mhm.
Because when you lift out that hand, I did a TED talk that I've shared with many before. You can go on YouTube right now and look it up. Recidivism, Julius Campbell, and recidivism. And I say, if we would have just held hands sooner, we wouldn't have lost all the people that we lost. I got that story from my partner Jerry Smiley, giving them shots out as well. Remember, grace is what we need. So as we get ready to leave, we got some people talking to us right there. Barbara often she says, keep looking and moving forward. Keep looking and moving forward. And I want to thank all of those, Tisha and Lisa,
Linda.
Jerry and Cece, all of
Mm-hmm.
those that have come on, and Mike and Donnie, all of you that have been an encouragement with us. We hear your voice as you are speaking with us. Go back again and share this broadcast with others so that they too can tell others. We may have started this thing out wrong, but guess what?
We're gonna
We can
finish
finish
strong.
strong.
We can finish strong. We're
Yeah.
gonna finish strong. So, any closing words before we go? I know Julius was in there, ducking his head in a time or two. He's trying to get things together. Julius is right now going through a challenging period, but he also is fighting this thing and pushing through, giving all of us an example of how to remain focused, but have that fortitude to keep on pushing. So, if
Right.
you have anything you want to say in closing, Paul?
Man, it's a lot of opportunities for us out here. Man, like the brother said, train yourself. If you're coming out, if you're already out, learn. So YouTube has a lot of different ways how a man could be an entrepreneur. There's a lot of different people out there who are teaching a lot of good things. Let's flip the hustle game, get it out the streets and get it into the bank accounts. And man, let's just build a different lifestyle for the ones that come after us.
I like that. Marie, any closing words for me?
Yes, I like what you use. I'm going to use it again. Hope. Hope. For those that are still, that's in prison. I know there's a sister, the women prison. I know it's a sister, brother, sisters that y'all can go to. I know they have prayer meetings. Keep hope. Keep the faith. For men, y'all keep hope. You can't do it by yourself. I don't care who you are. You cannot do it alone.
Amen. Thank you again for joining us. Remember, you can be a help. You can be a help. Whether you are just a community leader, a faith organizer, a pastor, I was going to say a Republican, a politician, whatever, you can help. Find something that you can do to make a difference in the lives of those that are on the inside and those that are on the outside. Tisha says, keep up the good work, encouraging words, and positive thoughts. We thank you. We'll see you again next Friday, if the Lord's will, on Ink to Ink, Incarceration to Incorporation. Julius, AB, and Marie, Paul. Until next time, we'll see you later.
Good night.
All right, y'all. Good night.
Good night.
We the only one left, babe?